hoodies, pens, letterheads, business cards, envelopes, receipt books, brochures, flyers, posters, calendars, magazines, wedding cards, plastic ID cards, funeral programs, and many more. We also have indoor and outdoor videography, photography, and live streaming services. Visit us at our Migori Market, Onyinjo Bridge, Tiendege Stage offices. Call or WhatsApp us through 0721 379308 or 0736 352224. Connect with us on YouTube and Facebook at Blackman TV. We are on TikTok as BTV Kenya and also Blackman Studios on Facebook as well.
Earlier that it is going to be more interesting here, and it has started getting more interesting. I've just seen sample of I've just sampled some of the comments that you are leaving on the Facebook page. I'm just going to take a question, then after that we're going to sample your comments and your question. Please keep sending them. Now, Clinton,
yes,
as we were having a break, my question was, what is the next move for the president with the cabinet?
Up to now, I'm not convinced the president has a cabinet. And from the look of things, the first batch of the cabinet nominees are below the expectations of Kenyans and the Gen Zs. What the president should do is to withdraw that nomination of CS, the 11 CS members, and sit again himself somewhere in a closed room, one person, and rethink where you want to head this country to. We need people who are able to deliver. We've had people who came from nowhere. They were little known, but they were up to task. And they performed in the various ministries they held. So we want to see such crop of people back to office. We don't want people coming to amass wealth, the political class, driving big machines, flying in choppers, showing opulence, walking each and every place, trying to just come to Kenyans who are already riddled with a lot of poverty.
Now, not talking as the Gen Z now, as a political analyst,
Yes.
what move do you think the president should take?
What is yes that the people agitating for change are still waiting, are still ready to fight, and they are not convinced that this is the cabinet that Ruto wanted to have after dissolving the first one.
So you as a political analyst,
yes,
what do you think should be the right move for the president to take? Because already he has named 11 cabinet after firing the entire cabinet. But these 11 cabinets, the Gen Zs are still saying, no, we don't want these ones. Now, what do you think as a political analyst, what do you think should be the next move for the president? What should he do in order not to be at loggerheads with the Gen Zs, with the youths?
The president must ensure that the people coming in do not represent the face of KK regime that the people are not comfortable with. The likes of Duale, Kindiki, and so forth, he must see a way to do with them and bring up the new faces in the cabinet. That is the only way he will move on. If he doesn't do that, he should expect continued agitation by the Kenyans demanding for change. And this thing is not going to stop any soon. So the better he hears this, he will be able to go.
Now, ODM,
Yes.
as the Mio as a team,
Yes.
had a meeting in order to find a way how to be involved in the cabinet. But later we saw when the other wing over the Azimio pulling back, while ODM were in the support of formation of the cabinet at some point. And then later today in the evening, ODM leader Raila Amolo Odinga now gave some demands for the president. Amongst them, that the president should abandon the SHIF, that's the Social Health Insurance Fund, and should be left to NHIF. And at the same time, he saying the president should actually meet the demands of the Gen Zs. Now, my question is now, is ODM really going to be involved? And if in any case they are involved, what are the implications as a political analyst?
What I see happening here is that Azimio coalition is not intact about the issue of dialogue and the way forward in this whole issue. But the ODM party has come out strong to say that they are watching for dialogue with the KK regime to find long-lasting solutions to these issues. To me, in my honest view, I don't see any dialogue taking place. Ask me why.
Why?
Raila Odinga stood out as a strong proponent of dialogue in the last few days. But you see, he's now coming with hurdles. He's coming with demands that must be met before that dialogue takes place. Among those demands, they need time, and some need even policy change, which takes a lot of time and may involve legislation in the parliament, like shifting back from SHIF to NIF. That needs policy intervention by the parliament. Raila Odinga has also requested the president to address issues of abductions, forced disappearances, killings, and police brutality. Do you think that is a one-day activity? No, it will take long. We do not want to hear cases of abductions. That is what he says. The time that they are going to dialogue table, there should be no cases of abductions. The families of the victims should have been compensated, and those in police custody should be released, and those with cases in court related to this demonstration must be withdrawn. The cases must be withdrawn. Those things take time. Raila Odinga has also called that the government must charge the killer cops. How long is that going to take? It needs several months. It will need time. And is Raila willing to let down these demands and join the talks? I don't think so. That is why he brought them to the public, because the Gen Zs are also giving pressure to the political class that they cannot dialogue with somebody killing them, abducting them, undertaking forceful disappearance of their people, and all that. People have died. And the government is not keen to acknowledge and even send condolences to the family that the police supervised the killing of Kenyans. So I don't see that it will take place in the near future. It may take place, but not in the near future. If we are to go with the demands of the ODM party, I do not speak for them. Thank you.
Now, allow me to ask you this with due respect.
Yes.
Now, we have seen the Gen Zs, who are the youths, going on the streets. They are demonstrating every day, every Wednesday, every Tuesday and Thursday.
Yes.
During these times, the business activities in these towns are paralyzed.
Yes.
No activities is going on. How is our economy going to get up? And with businesses shut, where are our youth going to get jobs? Because at the same time, they say the Gen Zs don't destroy properties. They blame looting and destroying of properties to goons who nobody knows who. So how are the Gen Zs going to get jobs we are advocating for?
And do you think if the protests are called off today, the youths will get jobs that they need? So protests have nothing to do with unemployment of the Kenyan youth.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever suffers most with this protest is the government, because the government loses taxes that it is supposed to use to run the country. But it's the very government that is adamant to listen to us who are the taxpayers. So if the government listens to these issues, then there will be no need of demonstrations. If those issues are addressed, the issues raised by Gen Zs are in public forum. Everybody knows what the Gen Zs want. Why does the government not want to sit down and address each one of them? Why is the government still arrogant on how it addresses the youth? You just heard what the president said today, that he's not going to listen to anything further. He will stop the protest in his own way, and Kenya must move on. This is our country. It is not his country. The fact that he's the head of government, but this country is not his personal property. We are the people who contribute to what Kenya is on each and every day. So he must listen to Kenyans, address their needs. I have not heard our president coming with a sustainable way of job creation for the youths. What he has consistently said as a means of creating employment with the youths is these ICT hubs. How many ICT hubs are here? And what exactly do people do in those ICT hubs? How sustainable are those jobs? For how long do you do them? The president is talking about the housing program. He's building houses in our county here. Where are those houses? He's building some houses in Mabera. In Kuria, in a village. Who will first reside in that place? Who will leave his or her home to go and reside in that place? And how many of the youths can go and do jobs in those places? That is a drop of water in the ocean. The president must come up with an elaborate, sustainable way of creating jobs for the bulging youthful population in the country. Or else, these problems will continue to reoccur.
Now, I want to give you a break to sample some of the comments that we have received here. Just like I promised you earlier that we are going to sample your comments. I have a comment. This just came in.
have an active role to take in politics. Politics refers to the activities that revolve around governance of an institution or a country. So the youths must be part of those activities that revolves around governance. First, the youths must be able to be given an environment to form to make policies for running of government. They must be part of the policy making of any government because they are the majority and they are the people who bears the ground. The youth must be involved in several government programs and projects. One way of doing that is through public participation, where their ideas must be captured and put into actionable plans and frameworks. The impact of youth is enormous as far as politics is concerned. The youths are the people who determine the tempo and the wave of politics in the country. The youths are people who are mobile, they have the energy, they are versatile, and they are also vocal. So they are able to determine the pace of change that we need. I urge all the youths today, what has been set forth by the Gen Zs should be a wake-up call to all of us that things are not going to work as they used to be. There's a paradigm shift of our operations as youths in this country, and we are no longer going to posture as people who are going to be dependent on politicians. We have a stake in this country, and I'm urging youths not to be people who only participate by way of voting or hunting for votes for politicians. Youths must come out actively and also fight for these spaces with the older generation. Because we are the biggest population in terms of numbers, then what stops us from electing our own to champion for our interests as youths in the country from the top, the national government, even up to the county level? So the youths must come out and also participate in elections. By that way, they will be taking part actively in politics. And once maybe they get these seats, they'll be able now to implement youth-friendly policies and development interventions for the benefit of their own youth bracket and the general population. The young generation must now realize that this is our country, and the revolution that has started is spreading across the country. The whirlwind of change is very strong, and the political class has been cornered. They are trembling, and we cannot bow down to their blackmail. Let us keep pushing for a better country so that we leave it behind to our children and grandchildren, a better nation than we found it. Youths are increasingly advocating for proper, accountable, and efficient governance, meaning youths are not going to they are not going to condone corruption in the country at whichever level of government. Thank you.
Now, Mr. Bill, in what ways are we young people going to empower ourselves in order to stimulate our economy?
Empowerment of youths is a broad topic. People can empower themselves through self-employment, using their creativity and skills to come up with several businesses. But all this, again, goes back to the national government and the county government that we have. The government must provide conducive environment for this group of youths to be able to undertake their businesses. There are several permits and licenses that youths are not able to pay for to start business. So starting business in Kenya is expensive for the youthful population. The bank system that we have is very strict on giving support to the youths. The rates are very unfavorable, and the youths cannot be able to acquire these loans. The government has a big role in empowering youths, and empowering youths is not a privilege. It is the role of government to empower its citizens. It is their role, and it is our right to be empowered as youths. It is our right, and I mean it is our right once again. There are so many opportunities within the government. The official presiding over these big offices are not involving the youths. Opportunities go to their relatives, friends. The older generations who have a wide network of how government operates. Tenders. It is in the constitution. That's why I say in our right is one way of empowering the youths. 30% of tenders should be allocated to the youths. Is that considered during the procurement processes? Youths do not have kickbacks to give the big-bellied individuals, the older generation. So they miss these opportunities. So it is the old with the old conspiring to eat what should have gone to the youths. So the youths continue to suffer and live in despondency and destitution. Something that we will not condemn. That's why people are coming out, the uprising is active, that we want what belongs to us. We are no longer going to sit the way our parents sat and are now going to end their lifetime on earth as poor people. While others are billionaires and doing wonderful things in the environment that we live in. So empowerment, the government has a role to empower its people. The people who are on the streets today is a testament that the government has continuously forgot to empower the most energetic population, that is the youths. People are hungry. People cannot feed themselves. People cannot pay bills. People do not know where they can get jobs. The youths, it is very difficult for the youth even to get internships in government institutions. It is difficult for even university students to get attachment places in these government institutions, because we have a workforce made up of the older generation that is not privy to the challenges of the youths. So the youths must come out in large numbers and in strong voices to seek for what belongs to them, and that is empowerment. The youths of the country needs to be empowered by the very government that they pay taxes to. Thank you.
Now, just on that, I want us to tackle this matter. Help me understand this. Yes. Then after that, we see what next from here. During the demonstrations,
yes,
the youths got into the parliament, actually sat in the speaker's seat.
Yes.
At the end of the day, we saw from the media they living with that scepter from the parliament. And from those who understand law, they say that in itself demonstrated that the parliament can no longer serve its purpose. It needs to be reconstituted again. And here we see on Tuesday the parliament is going to resume. Help me understand. What does the law say on this, and how are we going to go about this? Are we going to give a blind eye to it?
I'm not a lawyer.
Yes.
So I'm not privy to the law aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, saying that whatever was taken away by the protesters were the dummy pieces of the equipment that they usually use, the mess and all that. So, in fact, the Parliament, before it went for a recess, it conducted some activity that is something about deployment of the military to the streets. They passed some legislation that permitted that. So the Parliament even worked after the protest had begun. But what is coming out clear is that it is not the people going to Parliament and taking those items. what is coming out clear is that the people went to take their sovereign power by going to parliament and occupying it. The people told the ruling class that the sovereign power belongs to us. The power that you enjoy here in this building that you cannot listen to us belongs to us. We have just donated it to you. And that is a wake-up call. When they go back to that parliament, we do not want another mistake to occur, that they are voting like headless chicken instead of representing the interest of the constituents that elected them. They should know that we can come for that power, that sovereign power, next time should they continue to misbehave. Thank you.
Now, I've been pondering over this for some time as you were talking, and it just clicked on my mind. You stated that the president said that nobody should get to the streets, and that is going to tackle them. What happens if tomorrow, what do you expect if on Tuesday the Gen Zs are on the street and the president is out also? What do you expect?
I listened to the president threatening the people of Kenya. I want to remind him that there was once somebody in DRC Congo called Mobutu Seseko. This man was a dictator par excellence. Ruto is only imagining of being a dictator. There was once somebody called Mobutu Seseko, and in the end of everything, he fled his country. He fled. The people are stronger than what you may think you are. The people are going to come out in their numbers. The same way they came out to protest against Mobutu Seseko. Mobutu Seseko was a president who amassed wealth together with the few people who were around him. He plundered the economy, and there was huge debt for the country, like the problem that we are now facing in Kenya. And there was series of human rights abuses. He lost touch with the West, and he was left on his own. The people became stronger, his health deteriorated, and the military told him enough is enough, and he had to leave the country like a frail dog. So the president should stop threatening Kenyans. He should know that it is in the very constitution that allows the people of Kenya to protest, to demonstrate, to picket, and show what their displeasure is. And our displeasure is that you are presiding over a failed government. Yourself, you should leave office. Thank you.
For the interest of time, because I'm seeing our time is up and another program needs to come up.
Yes.
What is your last word, Mr. Bill Clinton, to the youths, to the president, and to the fellow Kenyans?
My last word to the youths and the Gen Zs of the Republic of Kenya. Revolution is not a wedding ceremony. Revolution is not an easy thing. It takes time. It has casualties. People have shed blood, and more will still shed, but we must maintain the course. The course must be maintained for the better Kenya, for our children and our grandchildren. This is our home, and the home where we belong, we have no any other. We must make things right. The political class must know that they are ruling human beings who see how they mess, and they must listen whenever they are told that they are messing. Should they continue to show that kind of arrogance, then this will not end in a good way. I want the president and the political class to tone down and address the issues raised by the youths. Address. We do not want that thing called dialogue. Dialogue over what? If police are killing Kenyans, do we need dialogue? If people are not having jobs, do we need dialogue? You need to create industries, you need to create opportunities, you need to create an enabling environment for the youths to get into job opportunities that exist. We do not need dialogue for you to send away corrupt state officers. We do not need dialogue for you to sack them and prosecute them. We need a functional system that does not favor or care about anyone in terms of tribe, religion, or any other social factors. We want our country to work for all of us and not a few elites and political class. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my dear viewers, for keeping in touch with us, for sending your comments and questions. I believe we've sampled some of the questions and the bill has answered them. And we say thank you so much for keeping tuned to BTV Kenya. We are grateful that you are part and parcel of us. We have to bring it to an end until next week on Sunday, same time, same place, here only at BTV Kenya. And I want to say thank you so much, Mr. Bill, for sparing your time and coming and sharing with us what we deem fit for this nation. My dear viewers, we have come to an end. And thank you so much. We meet again. Have a lovely night.
Thank you.
Asante.